Hello, I'm Robert, and you're welcome here in my busy little shop. On today's episode of What's on My Workbench, the snapping turtle's back. So if you've been following along, I received this order of snapping turtle leather, and it came from a company. It's called snappingturtleleathercompany.com. You can find them. I'll put links for them in my description of the video. So if you need to find them, it's easy to find there. But a little bit about the leather first. I was really intrigued. When I first saw them, I'm like, what's the backstory on that? Well, here in the United States, the snapping turtle is harvested for meat for a large part of the country. And before Snapping Turtle Leather Company started tanning leather, it was just going to waste. It was being disposed of as a byproduct of that meat industry. So I'm glad they took it upon themselves to figure out how to tan it and come up with these just fabulous colors. This one's brown. This is a tail section. This is a large. They come in different sizes, small, I think it's medium, but small, large, extra large, I know are there for sure. But it's just a beautiful hide here. And like I say, this is the tail section. And then when you look at the, I guess this must be like off the flipper / leg section at the back of it. It's got these like really cool designs in there. And I ran into the representative for the company at Prescott at the leather trade show there, and we talked a little bit, and then I reached out to them asking a little bit more about it, and they knew that I had a channel, and they're like, you know what, why don't we collaborate? We'll get you some leather, and you can see how it works for you. Isn't that purple just striking? I've got so many different ideas on where to use this leather, but that's where I got to today. I thought I would start with a kind of a simple project. I'm going to do a pancake sheath. I've got a sheath knife here that I happen to need to make a sheath for, so I'm going to make a sheath for this. And my goal today is not to make the most striking sheath that I've ever made, but I want to figure out how it is to work with this. It's got some variation in thicknesses from, I've measured it here from like 4 to 6 ounces. And so I'll need to skive some areas as well. So I want to find out, how does it skive, how does it finish, and how is it to work with? And if I didn't say, I'll be sure to put links in the description on how to find the company, snappingturtleleathercompany.com, and to these different leathers as well. And if you go in there, their array of colors is just it's just fabulous. A lot of jewel tones, from the purple you saw to green, blue. There's just so many different ones. This is black. That may look obvious, but this one here is royal blue. So if you didn't have the black next to it, it does look pretty dark, but royal blue is pretty dark. You can also buy the hide as what they call a crust, and it's not dyed. So I'll be finding out how that is to dye as well. So I haven't worked with that. So I think I've got enough ramp up there. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I know that when there's a few things that go through a person's mind when they're looking at exotic leathers. One is, how is it harvested? Is it harvested? Is it a byproduct? Or are we harvesting these animals just for the skins? So this one here, I think, sets a lot of people's mind at ease. This is a byproduct of the food industry. So before, it was just going to waste. But you know what? Let's get on the workbench over here, and I'll get started on this project, and then I'll let you follow along, and I'll have a wrap up here towards the end. I do appreciate you taking time to be within the shop today. All right, so looking at these colors, this is actually navy. Compared to these other colors, it may look black, but that's navy, so I don't think that goes very well. The purple, that would make a statement for sure. That's just a beautiful piece of leather. I've only got this one tail section of the purple, so I need to really think about where I'm going to utilize that. I think what I'm going to do, brown would go, but this color down in here, I think it's just more black than anything. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down in here, and I'll utilize one of these pieces, and I'm going to make a sheath for this Baron Sun knife. And I think what I'm going to do is just create a one of my typical knives, but I'll do an inlay here. I'll leave room for the stitching around there, and my idea there is it'll eliminate the need to try to get a burnish on this edge, because I'm just not confident that I can get a burnish on that. So I need to figure out, well, one, if I was using this for something bigger, where would those pieces be so that I can get the most out of this piece of leather. This across here, that's like, I'm going to say 8 inches, 8 by 3.5. I could make a wallet out of that. I could probably do the same thing over here. If I went this direction, I would have similar, or I could make a pancake sheath and have one there. So I think what I'll do, I guess, which one of these is maybe the coolest looking? I like this one. And I like how this grain of it, the wrinkles all run this direction. And it's got very little stretch this way, but it's got stretch this way, which I think will help because I like to wet form this knife in there. I guess we'll find out how that works in here. But I think the first thing I'm going to do when I look at this, I think I have no idea. So we're guessing, and I'm learning here and showing you as I learn. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece here, and I'm going to do it as an inlay on the front of this sheath. I'm going to run it this direction, and this leather here is 6 ounces. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this turtle leather onto some like 3 ounce or 4 ounce leather. I'll pull some of that wrinkle out of it, but I don't want to get rid of all of it because I think that's kind of a cool look there as well. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But if I laminate this to a piece of vegtan, then I think that'll help me stabilize this leather here. I guess we'll find out. The worst I can do is ruin a piece of snapping turtle leather, which is bad enough. But I think I'll be careful here, and I should be okay. So I'm going to start by finding some leather that I would use for the knife sheath if I wasn't working on that. And then once I get my leather cut out there for that, then I'll come back and we'll start figuring out how to incorporate this turtle leather to there. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have drawn in my pattern here. And the way I came up with this, the first thing I did is I drew in where my belt would go. I decided which way I wanted the knife. Do I want it kind of a traditional hang down here like a traditional hunter knife, or do I like this pancake sheath? I thought I would do the pancake sheath. There's a couple reasons why I personally like that, and that is that I can let me go cut out those pieces, and then we'll come back here in just a few minutes. No sense in watching me cut leather. I'm going to do it over on the cut table, and I'll be right back. This will be my window here for that. And then one of them, it's got a B on the back because I like to have the flesh side out. So that's a mirror of what would be the front, like that. So that's the back. There will be another layer between them, and that's going to be the part that makes up the front here. And then there will be a a welt around here. I need to cut out that yet. This piece here, this inside here, I'll do all my bevel and everything and get that looking nice, sanded, burnished before I start the assembly here. So I'll do that. I need to dye this, and I think I've decided, you know, some would just go black, but I think that would kind of hide this. Let's get a first look at what that's going to look like, depending on where I place it. But I think it's going to be something kind of like that. So I think I'm going to use dark brown on here, and that will make sure that this turtle stands out. So I'll just keep working here until I get this shape the way I'm looking for it. And I did use a 1/2 inch punch there, and a 3/16 punch up on this other end here. So I'm going to keep working on this edge here. When I get it the final improved shape, then I'll use my Ron's number probably 2 edger all the way around this, and I'll use the number 1 on the back to get rid of any fuzz that's there. I'll put a burnish on here, and then we'll be ready to add dye to it. Let me show you where I'm at now. So I haven't finished this edge in here yet. It's sanded, ready to burnish. But while I was thinking about it, I went and I cut out a piece of leather here that would be like what you would remove from there. I probably should have done it in reverse, but I'll show you why. But I want this turtle leather to kind of pop. And I saw this technique in a class I took with Aaron Heiser in Pendleton this last fall. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the outside of this and skive just a little bit of a miter here. And that will go underneath the turtle leather there and hopefully help raise that up just a little bit and make it pop, so to speak. If I'd done it backwards, I wouldn't be skiving the front side off, but it's just filler in here. You could, if you had a split you wanted to use, you could use a split. I'm not too worried about any of my roughness of my skive here, telegraphing through that pretty textured turtle leather. Kind of roughly done there. I should probably slow down when I'm showing you here, but I think you get the idea. Now, this will be used as a filler on top of what I would call my front. That's my front here. Let me put them in here. So this is my border for my inlay, and that'll lay there on top of that front, and the leather, the turtle leather, will be then domed over that. So let's see what that kind of looks like when we get to that point. The next thing I need to do is to cut out the turtle leather that I need for in here. So what I want to do is I want to cut the turtle leather out to go in that window, and this will be the overall size of it here. This represents the window of what's going to show. So I borrowed a white paint pen here. From the HR department. This was just waste product before they started making leather from it. And it's really a unique leather. There's lots of unique leathers out there, but this is kind of cool. It's domestic, comes from the United States. It's tanned in the United States. So it should be fairly readily available if you obviously live in the United States. You can find their website and order straight from there. This was black shoulders. Let's get a first look at this piece in here. Yeah, I think that's going to look pretty good. I need to skive it. It's thinner here than around here, and I'm going to have roughly, well, you can see I'm going to have a 1/4 inch allowance all the way around this area here. So I want to do my skiving and keep it within, most of it within a 1/4 inch of the edge. This is a Sean Woodsum angled skiving knife. A lot of people like to use it this direction as well, but here working around the camera, this seems to be the right angle for me to get in there. A little fuzzy on the back side, especially in this area of the hide. It's actually skiving easier than I thought it would. I'm not sure if that's a testament to Sean's knife or the leather itself. Oh yeah, that makes a huge difference. Oh, I'm excited about that. Absolutely. Okay, I know I've said it before, may get edited out. I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna burnish the edges of this, get that finished up there. This piece here is the what goes behind here. And I'm going to burnish this edge here, not the front, because it's going to be laminated together and trimmed. You know what? I'm not going to do that yet. I think I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I have others. I'm going to complete my front assembly here and get that to where it's like one piece of leather before I get ready to attach it to the back, which it goes like that. So let me get this front done. I'm going to dye this dark brown, and then I'm going to get ready for the assembly, and then I'll come back when we're ready to assemble this front module. That's what we'll call it, the front module. Okay, I've got some components made here. There's a welt, and these are the parts that make up the inlay. And this is the front. So I think, and obviously then that leaves this as the back. It goes on there, something like that. So let me set this out of the way, and might as well get this out of the way as well. I think I'm trying to figure out, I've been trying to figure out what the best way to get everything lined up, and I think I need to start building it by putting this insert in here first. So let me get some contact adhesive on the back of the turtle here. Okay, let's start here. I'm just going to center this in the middle of the turtle leather. Just eyeballing it on there. Sixteenths along this edge here. It really only has to hold it long enough to get sewn in place, because there'll be a stitch line on there holding it. Okay, I think we are ready to center this. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to center it is. This might be the best way. I can kind of see where the glue line's at. Get it centered on there. Good. Come out of there. That was smooth. Now it's time to assemble this component that makes up the top layer. Hopefully I got it where it needs to be. I got that brown pretty dark. Almost wish I'd gone lighter. I think that looks pretty good, and it's got a little bit of a pooch because of that extra layer of leather in there. I know, most times the pooch doesn't look good, but I think it looks pretty good here. So, I think that's going to work. I need to sew this turtle in here so it can't go anywhere. And then I need to get ready for contact adhesive, and I'm going to put contact adhesive from, I guess, about here down to here. And on this side it's going to come from about here down to about here and then around. So that's contact adhesive. I need to stay away from out there. Here and like that. Okay, tell you what, we're getting down to officially called brass tacks at this point. What am I forgetting? I swear I'm forgetting something. I hate that feeling. She's thick. I'll finish creating the holes. You've seen me saddle stitch before. Probably don't need to see that again. And when I have that done, I'll come back when we're ready to laminate this stuff together. All right, so I finished the stitches around the inlay, which I think turned out good. So then I'm like, oh, I need to work on this top edge. So I sanded these two layers to where they matched up, gave me the reveal I was looking for here, dyed that. Then I'm like, oh, you know, I need to do some stitching from here to here because this will be in the open, but yet hard to stitch when it's not through all the other layers. And then I realized I was working along here and wasn't showing you guys what I'm doing. So I stopped here. So what I'm going to do at this point, I created this stitch line here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and I don't have anything layered up obviously yet, but I think this will help me. I'm going to go ahead and create my stitching holes all the way around here, which is going to be a second line. And then what will end up happening is up here, there'll be the bag punch is going to go in like this, somewhere in here. I'll have a secondary line, or in this case, I guess it's the third line, outside of there around here. But I won't know that until I get the bag punch holes created here with some overlap, and then the same thing up here. But I thought I needed to go ahead and create this line here. This line out here will pick up the welt, where the welt's at anyway. And so I thought, you know, I'll go ahead and get these in, and then I'll have holes on the back side that I can line up my welt on to make sure I get it in the right place. I think that makes sense. So I apologize. I was moving ahead, and then I'm like, oh, shoot. Now, you know, Wayne, if you were closer to me here, I'd just come over there and we'd whip out your Cobra 4. Is it a 4? I think it's a 4 sewing machine, and just sew this. But I'm not sure the 26 would do it. I don't want to push it that hard. Push it to the point of failure. Right now we are at 13, but then by the time we get this welt on there, and then another layer of 7, we're going to be beyond what the 26 would comfortably sew, or even probably uncomfortably sew. So I'm going to go ahead, finish my way around here. And once I have that done, I will contact adhesive the welt on next. So I'll come back when I'm getting ready to place the welt on there, unless I forget, and I'm coming back when I'm wrapping up and showing you how it came out. All right, let's see if we can get this done. I went ahead and put these stitches in across here where it's not going to be sewn into another layer. I gave it some thought. Hopefully I've in the right spot. I probably could have gone a few more here, but I'll figure that out if I need to. Soon there I'll be sewing through. You know what? I'm going to put a couple more holes in there. It's been an interesting project. These one-off projects can be a bit of a challenge, and I'm sure it is for others as well. I'll just do it leapfrog style here. So what I need to do now is to install the welt in here. Just eyeballing, make sure I'm in the right spot. I believe I am. I don't normally skive the edge of my welt down like that, but I did in this case because I wasn't sure about continuing it all the way out here, especially in this area here where we're going to be, I need to move that over some. In this area here where we're going to be making the bag punch holes. So hope this all works out. If not, hey, I can always start over, and then I have, what do they call that? Experience. Just trying to think, what am I forgetting here? I know, I got quiet, I'm thinking. Each step I go, I feel a little bit more invested in it here if I make an error. But hopefully, hopefully we won't make any of those. I am going to wet form this a little bit here. I think we'll gain a little bit of relief here on the back side, which will be fine. And on the front as well. Yeah. Okay. So the way I've done this in the past, I need 3 1/4. This is a 2-inch. I thought I had a 2 1/2. I guess not. This is a 2-inch punch. And I think the way I would like for this to come out, as we come up around here, I don't know if I'm going to go up and make a loop in or just run into there. I think I'll probably just do like that. So I want my bag punch to be somewhat up here towards the top. I need an inch more, maybe a hair more than that, an inch more. Probably moved down too far. I'll be making it work. Now I'm kind of wishing I hadn't gone that far up there, because I probably would have come across here more, but it'll be rounded, it'll be fine. So we're going to come see if I can lay out my stitch line a little bit here. Start with what my relief there was, and that'll be my line through here. A little tight there. Think like that. That'll fill that spot in. Here. If I go here, it leaves kind of a funny shape there. I'm going to try something I've never done before. I'll do that. That, that. That. And I've had people ask, how am I going to do these stitch lines? I'm just going to go ahead and chase out each of these holes here with my single tine, which will go through the welt in there, and it'll get me down close. I'll use a awl to chase out the remaining distance there. So this is probably going to get boring for you to watch. I'll complete that. I'll do these stitch lines here as well, and I might do a little bit of just trimming here with the knife, and I'll be back here in a little bit. I'm sewing along here. I think as far as the turtle leather, that was really easy to work with. Didn't run into any problems there. I do wish I'd left myself a little bit more room here on the edges, you know, with leather to trim off, but I think overall I'm happy with the design here. I'll finish my sewing here, and I'll come back and pick my design apart, let you know what I think of it here, and we'll see how it fits. I'll do a little bit of wet forming here at the end. Obviously I got edge work to do and such, but the majority of that, it's not really relevant to what we've got going on here. So I'll finish sewing here a little bit, and I'll be right back to you. So it's a day later here for me. I completed a bunch of sanding on here, and I say a day later because I got a little frustrated, obviously not at the snapping turtle leather or any of the leather, just myself. I'm still not sold on the design, the shape of it. I guess we'll see how it goes. I had to step away from it yesterday because I was about the point to take a knife and cut it up, make it go away. I'm not saying that to, you know, try to find sympathy anywhere. But my point of that is there are times when you're doing this craft that you may get frustrated with it, and that may be the best time to step away. I feel a little bit better about it today. I'm not sure I like this shape down here. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure that this one will make its way to the table. I may redo it, but it's not a reflection on the leather. That's what's kept me moving, that snapping turtle leather. I think it's just beautiful. The texture of it is just, I think, over the top. So I'll continue working on my edge die here. I'll probably go around it a couple of times. Considered using black, but I was frustrated yesterday with some of the steps on it. The last thing I wanted to do was to get weep over onto the face of this and have it, you know, frustrating for me. So I decided to stick with the same color as the main body of this sheath. Well, as you can see, I've moved into the edge dyeing. And I'm just applying the same color that I used on the face of the sheath. Considered black, decided against it. I was afraid I'd make some error someplace and have some black streak on the front. This is actually the next day. I got a little frustrated with the project yesterday and decided that it was a good time to step away before I picked up a knife and cut it up, got rid of it. The frustration has nothing to do with the leather. It's just my, I guess, whether I like the design or not. Look at this snapping turtle leather though. Isn't that just beautiful? Look at the natural wrinkles and spots on it. It would be cool with the tail section in here, but I wasn't 100% sure the direction I was going with this, and I didn't want to take a chance of ruining one of the tails that I had. And you know, now I say that, I mean, that is always one of the biggest challenges when you're buying, you know, leather that is, you know, more than just the stuff you use every day on your projects. I know Chuck Dorset, I bet he still hasn't done anything with it. He bought a buffalo robe and has on more than one occasion said he's ready to start cutting into it and using it to make, I think he was talking about making some woolies, some chaps out of it. But the problem is when you get a bunch of money invested in leather and then you're afraid to use it, well, that's no good. And it can be easy to be that way. And so with that said, I want to point out that really, for what you're getting, the snapping turtle leather, I don't believe is really in that same category as expensive enough to where you have to be worried about, you know, messing it up. My biggest thing is I want to make sure that what I produce here, you know, honors the leather that, you know, that they produce and ship. That was really nice of them to ship me this leather, give me an opportunity to work with it here. But let me finish up my edge dye. You can see I started around it a second time to darken it up some, and the burnish will obviously darken it up as well. But once again, just look at that snapping turtle leather. It's beautiful. If you figure the amount of leather used in this from that hide, I could make probably, I think about it, I could probably make a dozen sheaths like this with that single hide. It was a shoulders section is what they call it if you go to their website. And I think I said it wrong a couple times there. It's snappingturtleleathercompany.com, and there'll be a link in the description for them as well. And you know, go to their website, check it out. Maybe click on the contact part and just put a brief note there if you like today's video. I appreciate them, you know, sending me the leather so I could make this video. So I'm gonna set that down there. We'll let that dry. I've got some burnish to do on it, and I guess then I'll put my final clear coat on it. I think I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to put anything on the turtle leather itself. I'm thinking no, so I'll be working around that area there. So we'll be back here just shortly. Take a look at this, where we're at here. And I like the look and the feel of that snapping turtle leather. I think that's really pretty nice. I need to work on my edge burnish here. And I think a lot of people have their own way of doing the edge burnish. What I find is I like to get what I would call an initial burnish on it here. I don't do a lot of thick items like this. This is pretty thick. That's 1/2 inch leather, I guess I would say, maybe slightly more. And I think it looks pretty good what I'm going to do is finish the burnish all the way around. There's a few areas here that are still, once I start burnishing it, I realize I've got more work to do on them. So I'll do some more sanding, burnish. If I sand through the color on the edge, I can renew that color one more time. And then I will come back, put Resin on it, probably come back within some 800 grit sandpaper, sand these edges one more time, and then we will be, I guess, ready at that point. I'll put Resin on everything except for, I like this matte finish of the turtle. So if that looks good, then what I'll do is, then we'll be ready for our reveal. So I'll be back here in just a little bit once I get the edges looking the way I like them. We're going to talk a little bit about this. This has been a learning experience for me. I tell you what, I need to probably build more sheaths. I build them infrequently enough that it seems like I must be a slow learner. I have to relearn some of my known issues. Let's put the knife in there and see what that looks like. All right, let's see how she fits. A little snug there, which is good. I think, you know I've said, this design here, there's something about this I don't like. I do realize after I got done that I could have been a little smaller, probably a 1/2 of an inch on both of these. Even though the belt comes through at this angle here, I need something that's more, well, let me put a belt through it. All right, so here we are. This is my belt today. And I could have made these oblongs, these bag punches, a little bit smaller. I made it so that I could get like 1 3/4 inch belt through there, okay, but as you can see, I overcompensated for the angle of the belt there, because I think what's going to happen is it's going to ride up in the top of these bag punches. So to redo this again, and I might make another one. I've actually got 2 of these knives, so I may make another one like this, but it'd been better to have smaller holes here, which I think would have potentially really changed the shape, especially down here, because I could have come around here more and in line. I think that would bother me less. I don't like the shape of this tip. So let's come back when I'm ready to wrap up here. Well, there you go. Another beautiful project. The snapping turtle leather was really easy to work with. As far as the workability of it, if I hadn't known what it was and was just a piece of cutout vegtan, it would have been the same to work with. The texture is just beautiful on there. And I know you can do a lot of things with like tooling leather, but if you want something that's like really a unique gift, maybe for a hunter, especially if they, harvest snapping turtles, but that's just a beautiful skin there. The workability of it is, to me, the same as working with vegtan in this type of application. I didn't try to do an exposed edge on it. I have a feeling that that's going to be a challenge to get a nice polished. So it's going to be something that you're going to want to do as an inlay or some type of a wrap where you're getting rid of that exposed edge. But we're going to explore more on that as we get there. But I think the leather is just beautiful. It worked easily. Once again, there's links in the description of the video on using the snapping turtle or finding the snapping turtle leather. But what I want to say is this particular piece, this was shoulders, and there's really a lot of working area here. If you look at it, I used a piece that was right here. So you could do similar to that several times over. You could make a wallet and have that for the outside of it. And it's an exotic, so you're going to probably want to get a little bit more money out of it, but it doesn't break the bank to get started with, say, a window. There's probably, based off that price there, $5 worth of leather, that may be high, to do that inlay. And you know, the entry-level price for the snapping turtle leather, I was looking, and I think you're on the crust at about $35 for a small tail, all the way up to, well, I don't even know what it goes up to. I know that they do what they call match sets for boot makers, so that the tail section looks the same from like one shoe to the other one, or one boot to the other one. So I know they get a premium for that to create that type of a finish. But I think, you know, most of the places you're looking, you can get something really pretty nice in there for the $45 to $55 range, and have some options with it. When I get a little bit more comfortable with it, I really want to find something to use that. I'm thinking a sheath, but I'm also thinking that that might be cool on the front of a flap of a purse, and just have an opening there and have that in there as well. It's just really a beautiful color, and there's lots of opportunity to use this leather. So I've kicked around the horn enough here. I'll wrap up there. Do me a favor, go in the description, click on snappingturtleleathercompany.com. Go over and just take a look there and leave a note and tell me that you saw my video. I appreciate you being here today. Please like, share, and subscribe, but more importantly, I do hope you have a great day.